I've been meaning to make this video for quite a long time now. There's this story that I wanted to tell, but I wanted to do it justice. I wanted to flesh out all the points that I wanted to make. I thought about writing a script and everything, but I'm kind of like a monotone speaker, so this story has two parts to it, and I'm going to try my best to set it up in such a way that it's relevant to mgtow. So this all kind of took place probably 5 or 6 years ago when I just started to be priming myself for something like mgtow to come into my life. I was approaching my mid-30s and I just started to notice the true female nature of women. You first get with them, everything's good, but the longer you stay with them, it just becomes this hell. And I was under some stress in life, but the major stress, the one stress that was very consistent, was that came from a woman. I found myself on this roller coaster of constant emotions, up and down, and you really lose who you are. You just lose a sense of yourself, and you find yourself capitulating to this crazy person that you're with. I kind of got to a point where I found myself in this constant battle to try to make this person that I was with not mad at me every single second of the day. I was trying to do everything right, and the more I tried, it was just, I don't know, you just couldn't do anything right. And that changes you. That puts you in a state of like you're walking on eggshells, and you really do. You lose all your passions in life, all those little things that you like to do. You're not interested in them anymore. And it's also different when you're in your early 30s, mid 30s. That's the time when women really need to get married and have kids, and I was kind of resisting that. So there was a lot of pressure on me to do that, and I wanted to in the beginning, but there was so many red flags that you just like put it on the back burner, and you like, I'm gonna hold off on this a little while. Maybe she'll start coming around and be a little nicer to me. But that never happened. It was just a constant roller coaster of craziness. So you kind of get to a point where the woman will make you believe that it's all your fault. So there was a period of time in my life where I kind of beat myself up about it. I'm like, you know what? I am the problem here. And it got me into this bad state of mind. So with all that said, I'm going to try to tell this story. I worked shift work for a long time. I worked nights and days, and every single time I worked nights, get out at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would drive home. I had a fairly long drive, and throughout the seasons, you would notice the sunrise. The sun would come up at specific points on my driving route, and I never really paid attention to it. It more or less blinded me, and you kind of just put your sun visor down and you just keep driving. But I remember one day driving, and I was just frustrated with life, frustrated with basically women in general, and I'm like, I wanted this companion in life, but I almost saw that, it was almost pointless. It wasn't going to happen. They always turn into bitches. Every single friend that I had, every single coworker, they all had trouble with women. And I thought I was better than them. I thought I could get me a good woman and, have this awesome companionship, but it weren't happening. And I was waking up to the realization of that. And, you feel pretty down in life. It's a big hit to your ego. And I just was driving home one day, and I actually looked over and I was observing the sunrise, and I got a little bit of joy out of it. And I had to pull over and this like wave of emotion hit me, and I didn't feel alone anymore. I kind of felt like, I was in my own thoughts again. I didn't feel like a zombie anymore. I felt like I have been manipulated by a female, and I have been drugged through the fucking shit. And, I just felt contentment in that moment. So from that moment on, I would watch the sunrise every single time I would drive home from a night shift. Watching the sunrise brought this stability in my life. The sun's gonna rise every single day, no matter how you're feeling. You could feel sad or happy. The sun's still gonna come up. So the consistency of that was something that I needed. And from that point forward, I kind of focused on myself a little more. Even though I was still in a relationship, I focused on what I wanted in life. And this was still before I even found mgtow. So I was more or less being primed for something like mgtow to come along. So basically, seeing the sunrise set the stage for me to be open to the possibility of finding joy in my life for myself. So I kind of had this relationship with the sunrise. It gave me a lot of positive emotions. So I had this like dream that I wanted to climb a mountain and see the sunrise. This leads me to the second part of this story. It was about a year later, I said to myself, you know what? I'm going to climb a mountain and I'm going to watch the sunrise. And I was still with the woman during that time, and I don't know why, but I asked her to come along, and she actually did. And I couldn't believe that she could even get up that early. We got up at maybe 4 o'clock in the morning, and we drove. I mean, this is a woman that had trouble walking to the mailbox to get the mail. She didn't want to do physical exercise anymore, and basically just laying on the couch was her thing. And I just couldn't believe she actually went with me. So we drive to this mountain/hill that's not too far away, and we climbed the mountain. It was extremely quiet, and it was an emotional experience for me, but for her, it was a slightly different story. So we walked up this hill/mountain for 45 minutes to an hour. It took us to get to the top, and it was pitch black. It was dead quiet. It was kind of scary a little bit. There was a few animals that we saw along the way that scared the shit out of us. So we get to the top of this hill, and we waited probably 15-20 minutes, and the sun started to come up just a little bit, and our vantage point was kind of skewed by some trees, just enough so it clouded our vision just slightly. I was very emotional. I'm like, I've been waiting for this for like a year or so, for this moment that I've been thinking about. And this female that I was with, she just wanted to be on Facebook on her phone, totally oblivious to this experience, this basically once in a lifetime experience. How many times are you going to climb a mountain and watch the sunrise? She started complaining that she couldn't really see very good because the trees were in the way. So I kind of just blocked her out, and I just watched the sunrise come up, and it was pretty awesome. It made all the trees around us, and there was a surrounding lakes down below. It made everything red for about a minute. Then the sun actually came up and everything lit up, and it was pretty awesome. I thought about a lot of things in my life within that moment, and she was just staring at her phone on Facebook, and I could not believe it was disgusting. I'm like, I cannot believe this person. So I just kept my mouth shut, and we walked back down the mountain, and I just couldn't believe it. her disgust of even being there. She started complaining, and it was just, I'm like, why did I even bring her? So that's the end of this story. And I know a lot of you guys have been in situations like this before, and I just kind of wanted to tell this story. There's many more like this, but this was an event that kind of pushed me into the realm of seeking something like mgtow. I was fed up, I was frustrated, and I needed some release